Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. Welcome back to Nerdin' Out. Happy 2020, Happy New Year, all that good stuff. Welcome back. This is our first episode of this year, technically.
Indeed. I am here.
Nathaniel's here. David is not here, but that is okay. He's busy working and living his okayest life. But we love him and we miss him. We'll
work him in somehow.
We'll work him in somehow. You'll see when. I just want there to be like an abrupt cut, like during the middle of a conversation, and just like have David like go on a ramble about something and then come back.
That'd be really funny if we like said we'll hear from him in some form, and then you just hear or like some scream.
I do have like a lot of sound effects of him, so I could very well just do that.
That'd be great.
But yeah, so.
You'll probably be hearing a lot more from us, but minus David in the same capacity.
Yeah,
for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, last year we were kind of disappointed with just kind of like our lack of consistency, and a lot of that had to do with just like scheduling. All three of us, had jobs that prevented us from doing this as regularly and frequently as we wanted to. David made a point to, for us to continue and meet even if he wasn't available, and then we'll find ways to get him in. And when he can work, he will, and when he can't, that's fine too. So this will be kind of the format for kind of like what Nathaniel said, for the foreseeable future. This could be for the next couple months. It could be sooner. He's looking to get a new job where he'll have more flexibility when it comes to hours. So
if you have any job openings available, just let us know. If you know any ways to get him fired, that will also get him on the podcast.
Well, I mean, the thing is that it would have been really easy for him to get fired if he had a Twitter now, because then people could just dig back and find something from like 2008.
That's true. If he made a joke, like you said, 11 years ago.
Right.
Or made a random reply to a photo.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so this is 2020. It doesn't feel different.
It feels different to me.
It does?
It does, because so towards the end of the year, I wasn't having the best time. And I told myself I need to have a new perspective for the new year. Like I'm a big believer in, and this isn't a self-motivational, like whatever podcast, but
it totally can be.
It totally can be. Follow your dreams. You can be Mario if you want to. Plastic surgery allows. But I told myself, like, I need to have a different perspective for this year, because this last year I've had a really pretty consistently bad perspective. Kind of just like things are not going to turn out all right. Things just not fatalist isn't the word. It's more like just I had too much depresso in my espresso. So I decided I'm going to set some goals, but I'm not going to make resolutions, because those always are a trap for me. Like, I make these resolutions and then I get disappointed when they don't come to fruition. Yeah. So I told myself I'm going to get a really good job. By really good, I mean a job. Job. I'm going to write more this year. And I just told myself I'm going to leave it broad for now and just focus on those two things. Okay. And I'm going to allow myself to spend more time with God and just more time with friends, and we'll see what happens.
That's good. Yeah.
So I'm stoked for this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of course, that's how I started last year, but
yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. Last year, I mean, was great, in a lot of different ways, but it was also, hard in a lot of different ways. I learned a lot about myself last year, and kind of, what makes me happy, or realizing that I don't really know what makes me happy. It's just kind of a lot of those things, and I didn't mean to go down this dark, kind of dark, sad thing, but yeah, I'm seeking out therapy this year, and and I have, kind of same thing as you. I have a different perspective on how life is, and it's not about tearing myself down at the expense of others. It's learning to like love and appreciate myself for who I am, and a lot of that comes with refocusing, reprioritizing. This first month, a lot of it, my wife and I are we're giving up streaming. Like every night, pretty much, we would watch like something on Netflix or like watch a series on Netflix last year. That was like a routine that we always had. This first month, instead of Netflix after dinner or something, it's going to be like either like quality time or prayer or reading something from the Bible. We're going to be really intentional this year and like starting by just kind of like refocusing.
That's great.
Yeah. So the beginning of this year is going to be exciting because like we're moving, having more space. It's going to be awesome. We're going to be able to have,
and that definitely gives you like a new, fresh type of feeling.
Yeah, it definitely does. Yeah, I think like when it was New Year's Day, it didn't feel different to me. Like it didn't feel like a new year because I was like, I worked both days.
Yeah,
I worked
on New Year's Eve. Are the same thing.
Yeah, I know exactly. And then I worked on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. So I was just like, well, I'm just going to work because this is the same as it usually is. But yeah, so it's it's different, it's new, and but speaking of 2020, 2019 was a thing that happened.
It was,
and there was
just
a lot
over,
and it's just over now. And I'm having a hard time kind of wrapping my brain around that because I feel like we were, I mean, 2019 was a couple weeks ago.
Technically, yeah.
So
it was a week ago. It was the 7th today.
Yeah, it was a week ago.
Dating our podcast as we tend to do.
Not that often, but yeah. So this has been a week into the new year. So what do we miss from 2019 already? That's a good tagline. There you go. What do we miss already?
I was employed for, I want to say 3/4 of 2019. So that 1 quarter plus a lot of the time that I had when I did have a job, I consumed a lot of media.
Oh yeah,
a lot, especially TV shows.
Yeah.
And
have you watched The Mandalorian?
I did.
You did? I haven't gotten a chance to watch it yet.
You would like it. It's good.
Okay. Cool.
It's a lot more grounded and less hokey.
I think the one thing that's kind of made me a little kind of like I don't know how excited I would be about it because I love Jango Fett and I love Boba Fett like as characters aesthetically they look really great, not necessarily how they were utilized in both the prequels and the sequels or in the original and the prequels. But,
they just kind of showed up and died.
Yeah, that's both of them. Yeah, said a couple lines and then that was it. But I think what makes me a little kind of like not as excited about it is when I see something based in the Star Wars universe, but it doesn't have anything that you would immediately associate with Star Wars, i.e. lightsabers, that immediately kind of makes me go, no, we'll see. I was pleasantly surprised with Rogue One and how good that movie was, how much I liked it.
Because really Darth Vader was the only lightsaber action.
Yes. And don't get me wrong, that part made me cream my pants. However, but other than that, there wasn't any lightsabers like in that movie, but it still did a pretty good job with making you like, feel and empathize for these characters. So
the creator of The Mandalorian, Jon Favreau.
Yes.
He handles it really great. So you can expect to see.
Well, yeah, he was a really great director of like those first couple Iron Man movies too. So he also plays Happy Hogan in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So he's So
his co-showrunner, I think it's David Filioni. He worked on the Clone Wars animated show. Okay. So I don't know much about that.
So they have people who have worked with source material before working on it. That makes sense.
Yeah. So some episodes are episodic while still continuing the plot line, and some are like fully plot focused. They're good. It's a lot better than the sequel trilogy we got, in my opinion.
We'll save that for another episode for sure. But speaking of shows and stuff based off of stuff, The Witcher.
The Witcher, yes.
I haven't seen that yet.
I've seen 6 episodes.
Oh yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's.
I was gonna say I've heard really good things, especially about Henry Cavill and just how like his performance of Geralt of Rivia.
So when they first announced that he was going to be Geralt, I was really skeptical because I'm like, I'm just going to see Superman when I see The Witcher. You don't see Superman at all. Like he stands out.
Yeah.
as Geralt. Like,
I was gonna say, he's a gamer, right?
yeah.
Yeah, Henry Cavill, he's like a big gamer, and like he read the books.
He like actually fought to be on the show.
Yeah, like when he first heard that Netflix was gonna make a series before they had anyone cast, he told his agent, like, hey, call them. He had them call him every single day, and they were like, hey,
I'm Geralt.
Yeah, he's just like, we do. I saw an interview where he was talking to someone, and they're like, when they finally got back to us, and they said, like, yeah, we actually, like, we don't even have a script yet, but when we're ready to cast, like, we'll keep you in mind.
Yeah, I think he absolutely kills it, and like the action is really great. I would say the production quality isn't quite up there yet.
Well, season 2 was already confirmed, wasn't it?
It hasn't been officially confirmed, but they're going to make a season 2 because The Witcher is one of the most streamed shows of 2019 for Netflix.
Already? I was going to say that came out in November, didn't it?
That's how well it did.
How is it the most? That's insane.
Yeah, a lot of people were watching it. Like, so on Steam, the user count for The Witcher simultaneously was up to 100,000, which is the highest it's ever been for Witcher on Steam. So
because everyone was changing their name to like Witcher something.
No. Like the number of people playing Witcher 3.
Oh wow!
Was 100,000 users.
Wow!
It reached a new peak. Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like,
it made me want to play The Witcher 3 again. I know, but I'm like, that's too long. But I still want to play it.
Hearing all the hype about it, like, I want to kind of get back into. I want to play Witcher 3 again. That was a good game.
Yeah, and the show right now like gives you the origin of Yennefer, and it dives into more where Geralt comes from and all that. So it's like a good thing that if you haven't played The Witcher, don't know.
Which the games, the first 2, they kind of touch on them.
They do
a little bit.
But I haven't played them. I know a little bit of each, but I know way more about the third game and kind of like the plot of that game. Yeah.
And that definitely culminates like the first 2.
This show is supposed to be more based on the books than the video games are.
Yeah.
But
then there's that one song that's gone viral.
Tassacoiner Witcher.
Yeah, that came out from that. I heard that song before I even watched the show. And it's a good song.
There's another song they have. I think it's Her Sweet Kiss. It's even better than Tassacoiner Witcher, in my opinion.
Really?
Yeah, it's really emotional.
I'll have to go find that then.
But Jaskier, who is Dandelion later on, he steals the show.
Right.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I remember. I was like, isn't that the bard? Doesn't he have a different name? But yeah, he is Jaskier, but he becomes Dandelion.
I was like, when they first introduced him, I was like, wait, why do they keep calling him that? Apparently I didn't know he had an actual name. It's like, isn't that Dandelion?
No.
But I think actually my highlight show of 2019 would be The Boys. I don't know if you heard of that.
I've heard of it.
So it's based on a graphic novel. Again, superheroes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It has that really, really like outrageous like American like superhero who's like a douche Captain America.
He wears like the American flag.
Right. And
so I would say he's the best villain of 2019 in TV. Like
he's a villain.
He's a villain.
Oh,
all the superheroes are villains.
Oh, okay.
So the premise of the show.
Is it still on Netflix?
It's on Prime Video.
Oh, it's on Prime. Okay.
It's on Prime Video. It's 8 episodes. So the premise of the TV show is there's this group of superheroes called the Seven, and they're part of this corporation called VOT. So superheroes work for this corporation to protect the United States. There's like a bunch of other superheroes throughout the world, but you find through this new character joining the Seven that they're basically just a bunch of corrupt, horrible people into the worst stuff. And
just like any organization, like it gets corrupt, and like there's that's interesting
because they use their power to influence the government and a bunch of other stuff. And there's this group called the Boys, who are people with no powers who want to kill these superheroes to get rid of them and their influence. What's his name? Keith Urban plays the most ridiculous character. He talks like this, and he uses so many swear words you wouldn't even know where to begin listing them all off.
Wow.
And it's like so.
I mean, that's his actual accent. He's Australian.
it's not a real accent, the one he's using in this show. It's
not,
so outlandish on purpose.
It's more hammed.
Yeah, it's kind of a satire of the whole superhero genre on steroids, and it's really gritty, really funny.
Like kick ass, but more ridiculous.
But further into the ridiculousness and like the grittiness and matureness. So it's really great.
That sounds fun. I might try to.
I would recommend it. I think you'd like it.
Yeah. A big thing for me last year was not necessarily even something that I enjoyed or consumed. It was me watching my wife get into video games because so she, like, the most video games she had played before were like when she was a kid, she played like Pokemon and Crash Bandicoot, and recently like before we got married, she played like Sims on her computer.
Right.
That's kind of like was the extent of her video game playing. When she first moved here, we played some games together. Like we played Black Ops like together, like zombies, and also just like Team Deathmatch and other stuff like that. But then I came home one day and she was playing Spider-Man.
Oh, so she just on her own just picked it up.
She just picked it up and started playing Spider-Man she created her. Well, we created an account for her like when we played Black Ops together, but she played on her account and she just played Spider-Man all the way through, and she completed the story, I think, and she 100%ed it. She got all the achievements, all the stuff, and all the city, all the parts of the New York. She didn't play the DLC, but she all the stuff that came with like the game, she completed it. She 100%ed Spider-Man.
Nice.
And I was super impressed with her. And then she dropped that and she played through God of War.
Which is no small feat.
No, that's a bit of a jump from Spider-Man to God of War. And she completed God of War. Like the story. She completed it.
Very nice.
And I never realized how much I mean, if she listens to this, she'll learn this, but I never realized how like irritated I get watching someone play a video game that doesn't like fully understand what's going on. Like I'm like crawling like in like under my skin. I'm just kind of like, oh my gosh, it's like right there. But you know,
so you didn't really give her hints or anything? Or?
There were times where I would kind of like instinctively kind of just go like, oh, go do that. And then she'll be like, I got it. And I'm like, okay.
Okay. So she doesn't want any help.
Yeah. Well, no. And then I'll shut up and then she'll ask me.
Okay.
And then, you know, so I have to kind of suck it up and let her figure it out. And then if she has questions, then
if she so desires your assistance.
Yes, exactly. And then, but yeah. And then there were some times where like she couldn't beat a boss, so she was like, here, you do it. But this was a really weird thing. And I don't know if you heard about this. There's a glitch in that game where you just skip like the second act.
Wait,
like you skip over Elfheim, you skip over meeting the witch, like Freya, you skip meeting her.
How?
I don't know. I have no idea. I remember her playing, like starting, and then I went to work, and then I came back, and then she was in the mountain, like right before she fought the dragon. And I was just like, damn, you got far. And then she was saying like how she like how hard it was, and like it's such a difficulty. It's such a difficulty spike, and I was just like, and then I saw her like struggling, and she was like, how did you get through the dark elves and stuff? She's like, what? I'm like,
yeah, that's a glitch.
Yeah. And then I started asking her questions like, it's like, what did you think of Jormungandr? And she was like, who's that? And I was just like, wait.
Yeah, you would think she'd remember after just having played it.
I know. And I was just asking her all these questions. Like, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? She's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm like, but you're definitely at the point where you would have seen that. And then and then when she saved one of the dwarf brothers from the dragon, I was like, oh yeah, I love this guy. And she was just like, who is that? But you definitely met him. Like, I was like, she was like, who is that guy? I was like, you've met him already.
Yeah, you have to meet him.
Yeah, no, she was like, no, I haven't. I'm like, what happened? Like, and then I played through. I started a new game plus with it, and she was watching me. And then I got to the part where I met Freya, and she was like, I didn't do any of this.
Wow.
I was like, that's impossible. You would have had to do that to get to where you are now. She's like, no, I didn't. I went through the door and then I was in the mountain. I was like, hey. and then she started over again, and then it started her back, like before all the mountain stuff.
What?
She lost all of her progress, like at that point, and then she went back to meeting the
Freya?
Yeah, and then she went to meet Freya. Like, they found the magical boar, and then they chased after it. And then when he's like chasing after the boy, like in the fog, she was like, I didn't do any of this. I was like, what?
The boy has a name. Way to objectify him.
Way to assume. But yeah, Atreus. Yeah. And she was like, I didn't do any of this. I'm like, that's not possible. Like, no, I don't understand.
I've never heard of that. That's crazy.
I know, and I tried looking it up. I tried asking on forums. I'm like, does anyone understand what happened? And no one has any idea.
Wow. Yeah, sometimes there's unique glitches like that don't replicate.
A glitch, one unique glitch per game.
That's a gigantic glitch. I wouldn't even say glitch is the right word. It's so massive. Like
it's just
that's
massive.
That's a glotch.
That's a glotch.
It's a big old glotch.
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. Because then finding out what happened or what she did to do that, because then that gets into like speedrun territory.
Yeah.
And you can just skip like 1/4 of the story. And it's like
speedrunners would latch onto that. They'd be like, excuse me?
I know.
May I know your secrets?
I was gonna say I went on Speed Forum like for God of War, and I'm like, what, is there a glitch somewhere that you could like push against a rock and then skip half of the story? Like, is that possible?
Just like
yeah, no, exactly. It's like Mario 64 where you back jump. Yeah, exactly. Oh man, but yeah, that was so weird. And then
has she played anything since then, or was that the most recent thing she played through?
The most recent thing that she played through. Oh, of course, we played through Detroit Become Human.
Right.
We did that too.
Great game.
And we played a couple different times. We did one playthrough where Connor became a deviant, and where Marcus led a mostly peaceful revolution. He fought back against the cops, which kind of like brought down the, and then we did another playthrough where Connor was just a robot. He didn't become a deviant basically. And
he I think he gains the trust of, what's his name?
Hank.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That one hurt because we really, really, really wanted Hank to be friends with. You can play it in a way where Hank kills himself.
I think that's what happened in mine. It was bad. It's
so sad because Connor comes to and he's just like, oh gosh, we see the gun and we're like, oh no. Mm-hmm. And then we leave and we hear the gunshot. Like I cried. I cried. I was like, I hate this so much. And Lana's just like, it's okay. We'll play this again where Hank and Connor will be best friends.
He still died.
I know. Yeah. And then we did another one where we did a completely peaceful run with Marcus. Nice. No conflict at all. And
because mine had conflict. Yeah. But it was mostly peaceful.
Yeah. And then
dude, that
the one that we did where we did it again where Connor and Hank were best friends. Like we made it so we made all the right choices. Nice. And Marcus did peacefully. We let
Marcus?
No, we let Kara die.
Oh no.
Which we switched off every time it switched characters in the story. Mm-hmm. And that time the order got mixed up after that because every time it would go back to Kara and then go back to, it would just skip to Marcus or back to Connor.
So she died early.
She died very early.
Ooh.
We had her die in the house.
What?
Yeah, I know.
That's so early.
I know. And then when you load the game back up, the android who's like there to greet you, she was like, I can't believe you let them die. And I was like, and we're just like, we know, but
You don't have to rub it in.
I know. But the thing is though, their story is so linear, like you don't really play it any other way. You know what I mean?
I only played it the one time, so I don't know.
Well, we played it.
Basically, Escape to Canada, right?
Yeah. Well, we played it twice. One way in one version they die,
Right.
but both of them die, or all three of them die, like on the river.
Even what's her face? The girl.
Yeah, the girl. Yeah, she dies.
Wow.
Yeah, they all die. Oh, and then the other one was where Luther, her, and Kara, they all make it through the border.
For me, Luther got left behind. It was so sad.
Oh yeah, no, we couldn't do that. But then they make it across the border, and they're all family, and it's nice. But yeah, but then when you have them die in the beginning, you don't have to worry about any of that. You don't have to worry about any.
You don't have to worry about caring about them.
Yeah, I don't want to worry about caring for these, very one-dimensional characters. I don't think
Luther's pretty one-dimensional.
Luther's pretty one-dimensional. Alice is
yeah.
so oh my gosh.
I wouldn't even say one-dimensional. She's like zero-dimensional.
she's like a line. She has no like angles or dimensions at all. She's just a straight line. Oh man. Kara has like the most development in that storyline, but it's very minimal.
Yeah,
there's not a whole lot of groundbreaking decisions that she makes.
No.
It's like, it's like do I steal the clothes or do
I would say the most shocking thing happened in the beginning at the house.
Yeah, that's like the most,
like yeah.
And like that's like the most, that's like the craziest her story can divert, whether or not she like kills him or they just run away and run into him later. Like there's so many different ways it can go from there. But after that,
yeah,
it's pretty,
I would say Marcus's is the most dynamic. Connor's maybe second.
Yeah, I would honestly even switch it.
Because, you've played it more. You would know more.
Well, because Connor's whole story is he was created by CyberLife to track and find deviants and find out why they become deviants. And he spends his whole story trying to figure it out while becoming a deviant himself, and he doesn't even realize it.
Right.
Or like depending on how you play it, right? But in the correct way to play the game. I feel like there's a way that the game developers intended the story to end. There's like 44 endings or something for all the characters combined. There's so many different ways their stories.
And I've seen like in some of the decisions, like in terms of the small differences that can happen, there's like dozens. It's crazy.
Oh yeah. There's whole trees that don't even show up in a story because you didn't make a decision like 2 scenes ago.
Right.
And, it makes you kind of like, okay, well, how do we get that tree? Like, what do we have to do to get that? So you have to go back and find and like make a different decision somewhere else. And then it opens up everything. So yeah, those are like the 3 big games that she played or, we played this year that, kind of got her into video games and stuff. So
very cool. I guess we have a new nerd among us.
Yeah. Speaking
fully fledged.
Speaking of new nerd, which we need to figure out a time where we can get her on. But a friend of ours, David, his wife.
Yes,
David Wooster. He's a pastor of my church, but his wife last year watched all of the Marvel movies,
which is more than 20 films.
Right, it's impressive, and she's been asking me a bunch of questions about my opinion and stuff like that. Like she was asking me, like a couple Sundays ago, she asked me, whose side did I take, or whose side do I take in Civil War? And I honestly didn't know at the time. Like I was
very decidedly Iron Man.
Really,
I like hated Captain America up until Endgame. Like I thought he was a total jerk. It's crazy. Like if you would talk to people around that time, people were very decidedly one or the other. Passionate about it.
Yeah. Lotta actually, I talked a lot about it, and she said that she would side with Iron Man.
Good.
Even though she herself has told me that Iron Man is not her favorite character.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I watched Winter Soldier again, and that paired up with Civil War, I kind of get Captain America's side. I'm kind of leaning more his side a little bit.
This podcast is over. And by extension, this friendship is over.
Let me explain. No. Go
ahead.
This is a guy who, went in the ice to protect people, right? That was his idea. Then he comes back and he thinks that, he comes back thinking that his government hasn't changed and it's the same. Cue in Civil War, Winter Soldier, he finds out, there's a lot more secret keeping going on than I'm comfortable with. And also, they want to frickin' make these weapons to take people out before they've done anything wrong. And kind of like what he says, like, this isn't freedom, this is fear.
Yeah.
And kind of going back to what he said, and I think it was Ultron, anyone who tries to stop a war before it begins, usually that's not good.
Mm-hmm.
And so then when he sees, and then you find out in Winter Soldier that S.H.I.E.L.D. has been compromised and it's been run by Hydra for years.
Right.
And then, here comes Civil War, where the last thing that he has real control over, the last thing that he's like, no, like, I can do good for people, despite, the government with agendas and all that stuff. I can still do good. Now they're trying to take that away from him too. And kind of like what he said, like, what if we need to go, but they won't let us?
Yeah. Cause a big part of it was, like you said, fear. Like Iron Man totally gave into fear, and he's like, yeah, we need to put some guidelines in place.
It's like we need to be put in check. Which even then from that, like, you could see both sides, because they both make really good points. They do make really good points.
Captain America, to some extent, is kind of instilling this almost like dictatorship of superheroes, like having the superheroes in charge of things, superseding the government.
I think he's more.
That's like the extreme that you could argue.
That's the extreme you could argue. I feel like more where he was going was, it's more superheroes need to exist outside the government, not necessarily above.
Which is what Iron Man's side was arguing. Like, we're not above the law. We're not above.
Yeah, I know.
Being controlled.
I mean, the thing is though, like, both people could argue the extremes of both arguments, but I don't think either of them were going to the extremes. You know what I mean?
That makes sense. Because
Captain America was saying, it's like, the safest hands are still our own. Like, he was like, I think, yeah. Even though, and I feel like the argument that was made really early on in Civil War, how in Sokovia, and like the kid dying, the family's dying, all that stuff, that's such a paper thin argument, because that wasn't the Avengers' fault. Like,
it's been a while since I saw it.
Well, in Age of Ultron, where like he lifts the city up in the air and then it all falls and stuff.
Ultron?
Yeah, Ultron, yeah. All I kept thinking to myself was like, well, that wasn't their fault.
Well, I think it goes back to Iron Man creating Ultron.
Yes. Okay, so I can see Iron Man, taking blame for that, but still,
it wasn't like directly.
But like, regardless, like, he didn't make him specifically to do that.
Right.
So it was a mistake. Now it's like, should Tony Stark had been penalized or held responsible for that, for inadvertently making something that killed a lot of people? Maybe.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe involuntary manslaughter. Maybe. For creating an AI that ruled, oh, well, humanity's just dangerous, I'm just gonna smoke them all. He didn't make Ultron with that intent. He made him to like protect the world. And then, so anyway, but Captain America, I get his side, where it's like, well, you can take responsibility for that, not me. I didn't do anything wrong. I was out there cleaning up your mess. Mm-hmm. So I can kind of get Captain America's side a little bit, and I kind of line up with him. I kind of line up with him more now. I used to be Iron Man, but then I've actually been thinking about it a lot more. I'm like, no, I kind of get it. I get it. It's messed up that you're getting blamed for something that you had nothing to do with.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
great movies.
Yeah, great movies. But And then last year had the wrap up of that whole thing. Yeah, Endgame.
I was actually watching it the other day. I haven't finished my current watch through, but still good. Still great.
Yeah, still great. I was actually listening to one of our old episodes, and I think it was the God of War episode, and you were talking about how Gwyneth Paltrow spoiled something about about them like getting married and having kids. I was like, oh, you just showed or just spilled the fact that Tony's gonna live in this movie and he doesn't.
Is that what we said?
Yes.
Oh man, they sometimes do a good job of
subverting expectations. Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Oh man, that's still the first like 4 minutes of Endgame, like with Jeremy Renner's character with Hawkeye and his family. Oh, so good.
Oh, that really rips at your heartstrings.
Yeah, I didn't realize Hawkeye's wife is played. I forget what she's called, but she's played by the actress who played Velma in the live action Scooby-Doo. I had no idea.
Yeah.
The other day I was like,
A lot of people don't. That's like a really old realization. Like people realize that when Age of Ultron came out.
Yeah, I know.
it's like why is Velma in the MCU?
Yeah, it took me way too long.
Oh man, but yeah, that was good. And last year was pretty good for movies. And
Knives Out was really great.
I heard
it was
really good. Daniel Craig was nominated for a Golden Globe.
Was he?
For Best Actor. Yeah.
Nice.
I can't remember who it was.
Chris Evans did a great job in it. I think he was my favorite character in it.
I feel like now any movie I see with Chris Evans in, it's going to be hard to be like.
It was a little bit hard.
It's going to be hard to be like, oh, this is just Captain America.
But it's funny because Captain America is like this pure, upright, like superhero. The character he played in this movie was just this douchebag.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it was a great contrast.
I mean, he's good at playing a douchebag. Like in that one movie, just another high school movie or whatever. Oh, it's so stupid, but he's in it and he plays like a douche high school jock. So
yeah,
that's also similar to his role in Fantastic Four too.
Yeah,
he plays Johnny Storm. He's
I was gonna say Johnny Cash, totally not the character.
Oh gosh, but
yeah. But yeah, it was great. A lot of really great dialogue, really funny.
Yeah.
Surprisingly complicated. Like it had some really great plot twists. Probably the best whoddunit movie.
Jeez, was it? I was gonna say, was it directed by M. Night?
No, actually Rian Johnson. He's great. But so he actually worked on a lot of stuff not Star Wars before Star Wars. Like I'm
sure he did.
He directed the finale to Breaking Bad. And a couple other episodes.
I heard about that.
Yeah, so
that doesn't excuse him from making bad movies.
It's not a bad movie, but we have thoroughly discussed this. Yeah, no, he's worked on a lot of other stuff that people prefer him as working on.
No, I get that, but
but it was a really great movie.
Yeah. And then let's see, it was a good year for anime too.
Anime, yeah.
I was gonna say Attack on Titan season 3 aired last year. The Demon Slayer. That was.
I actually still have like 2 episodes to go.
That was viral for. Oh gosh, it's so good.
It really
is. The art style is so insane.
It's fresh.
Oh gosh, it's weird. It's like looking at like a Japanese like style painting like on a wall come to life. It's really like I know that sounds really cliche.
Especially the water from his sword.
Oh my gosh, it's so and then later when it turns into fire.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Beautiful.
It's so surreal to look at. Like it's weird to look at and go like, wait, this style of animation exists?
Yeah, I haven't seen anything.
Why is anime before. Not more like this?
Mm-hmm. There's this other anime I started watching. I forget what exactly it's called, but it's something Shield Hero.
Oh yeah, the Rise of the Shield Hero.
Yeah, it's great.
It's a great like parody of like isekai basically.
What's isekai?
Isekai is the genre of like transported to a fantasy world.
Yeah.
Basically, it's like Sword Art Online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You saw some of it?
I've seen like memes and like some clips of it, but
I think it's a lot better than Sword Art.
Another one is Overly Cautious Hero.
I've heard of that, but
oh my gosh, it's so funny.
Really?
It's just straight up a comedy. It's not even. It doesn't even.
What is it set in?
So it's very much. Have you seen Konosuba?
No.
That's another really good one. Those
I'm guessing I have something more to watch.
there's 2 seasons, and the Konosuba is basically just like a comedy parody show.
I love stuff like that.
It's freaking ridiculous. The first season has an English dub. I don't think the second season has an English. The English dub I think is arguably better because it's like you could tell like the voice actors are having really fun with kind of like just being goofy and silly. It's really fun. I like it. But in Overly Cautious Hero, it's very similar where kind of like this goddess character summons a hero from another world to save the land from like a demon lord. That's like
So is it like Middle Ages type of
Middle Ages setting, yes, and then and it's like magic and all that stuff. So she summons this guy who base level has like incredible stats. It's like it's stupid. Like he's like starting out with like the best numbers in a video game ever. It's like basically like he's starting a new game plus. That's basically what like the best way I can describe it. And he's this really generic like cool character. He's kind of like Sasuke kind of style and kind of standoffish, and he's like ripped and he's really good looking, all that stuff. The goddess is like the jokey character in this show where she
Really?
Yeah,
the one who summoned him.
She is definitely there for like comic relief, and because she's trying to play it all serious and stuff, and he's not having it. So basically she summons him and she's like, okay, you've been summoned here to to fight the demon lord or whatever, and he's just like, nah, I don't want to do that. Basically, because he's just like, you summoned me here like from my normal life to like face danger and like life threatening things. It's like, nah, I'm good. It's like, if you're gonna make me do that, at least let me train first. So he actually spends like months like training beforehand, and the whole bit in this whole show is that he's overly cautious, and like he'll like when he goes out first and he fights a slime, he kills it, and then he uses like fireball on it like 12 times. It is so over the top ridiculous.
Double tap.
Yeah, he quadruple taps it, and he goes to buy. She's like, I'll get you like armor and all this. And he's like, okay, cool. So he's like, I'll take 3 of these pieces of armor. She's like, wait, why do you need so many? It's like one that I wear, my spare, and then a spare in case I lose my spare. He's just overly cautious.
That's so funny.
Is so ridiculously stupid, and I love it so much.
Well, you'll have to send me a link or
yeah, for sure. So it was just a good year for like just like fan culture in general.
Yeah, there are a lot of great games I played too.
Yeah.
So the most unique game I played is Hideo Kojima's.
I was gonna say, you told me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I'm getting close to beating the game.
When did you get it?
When did I get it?
Yeah, when did you
November. Yeah.
Oh man.
I think I've played 30 hours. Yeah, I have like too many games to play. So
such a terrible problem to have.
I got to a point where it's just so fun. Like you wouldn't think based on the premise,
being a delivery boy.
Yeah, but it's friggin' fun. Like you open up so many transportation options. You get a motorcycle, you get different cars, you get zip lines you could go across, and like all these different things you unlock, players can put in the world. And they show up in your world, and you contribute to them, make them like better structures, and like it's really interconnected and it's really fun. Super bizarre, like strangest story I've seen in a game, but it works.
It's like a baby in a chest tank.
Baby in a tank that's like from a stillborn mother, and it could like sense the like afterlife and the current life. It's like the link between both worlds.
Huh.
Yeah, and it helps you see these other beings and kind of like the afterlife or like some sort of
it's like a weird
both.
Like limbo in the real world.
Yeah, exactly.
That's weird.
Yeah, and so there's like some parts where you have to sneak around these. They're called BTs.
Yeah,
terrifying, and you could like lose your progress up to that point if you die to them.
Wow.
Or they destroy your packages, or like it's really interesting. Not for everyone. The beginning is very slow.
Really,
but once all the upgrades and everything starts rolling in, it's like you can't even keep up with all the like awesome perks and like rewards.
A game that I've been playing a lot this year, or more like the end of this year, was Tom Clancy's Wildlands Breakpoint.
How is it?
Or Ghost Recon Breakpoint. It's pretty good. I've been playing it with Doug. I've been trying to avoid a lot of the story missions so I can like play them with Doug.
Right. Because I played Wildlands.
Well, the thing with this game is how in Wildlands you get like 3, non-playable, you get like NPCs or whatever that like roll with you when you're playing like offline or you're not like playing with a group. In this game, you don't get that. It's just you, unless you team up with people.
So it really encourages you to play.
It really encourages you to play with other people. But it's a lot of fun. It definitely leans more into the loot drop and like RPG style than Wildlands does.
Yeah, I heard it has a lot more microtransactions, like a lot.
It does. I've been doing pretty well without needing it. They also, I think there's a good mix because they also just dropped like a kind of like a crate or whatever for like everyone. And it was just like, here's just like a bunch of blueprints for like cool new guns and stuff if you guys want them. So like how the blueprint system works out is you find a blueprint and it has guns are set up, or they're set up like number ranking wise. So it's like 1 to like 100 something or rather. So they give you a blueprint and it has like 101 over 107. So it's like when you buy this gun based on this blueprint, it'll be between those two numbers. So it's like you can kind of gamble that way. And they have different tiers of the guns, the different colors, basically,
like different rarities.
Yeah, different rarities. Yeah, and you can dismantle some guns to improve other ones, and it's the skill tree is so much bigger in this game. It is ridiculous. There's 4 different classes that you can use. There's medic, assault, stealth, and sharpshooter. And Doug has been rolling with the sharpshooter, and with the sharpshooter you get like a perk you get is you can use armor piercing rounds every once in a while. Once it charges, you can use armor piercing rounds, and those are like 50 cals on steroids. Nice. It's insane. It's like an anti-tank round basically. And then assault, which I've been running, and I've just totally embraced it with like the assault rifle, and then like the underbarrel grenade launcher.
That would be me, just rush in and kill everything.
Yeah, and with that, you basically get like a boost where it's like juggernaut boost, where you stab yourself with a syringe, and then like you shoot, and then you can
nice.
And then like the more people you kill, the more health you get, and the longer your rage like stays up. So you could just plow through an entire base just on.
Can you have random people join your group too?
Yes, you can.
Do you usually just play you two?
We do. I've never been one to really like play with a bunch of randos.
Yeah,
because it's I don't know. It's just I would much rather. Plus, like you like to talk to them. Like you have to invite them to your to your like audio to your party chat, and I don't know.
You're just like whatever.
I'd rather just like play with my friends instead of like people that I don't know. And it's just like
I just didn't know if it like filled your squad or something.
It doesn't. Okay, I mean, cool. Well, what's cool is that there's like a home base or whatever, like in the mountain, and you can go there, and that's where they have like the menu like in the previous game where you go like PvP and all the online stuff. They have like a general HUD or like home base where all that stuff is, and you just go there and you can do everything. So you see everyone in their OC running around, and you can invite them that way, or you can just go online and like try and like on the menu and invite people. So
very cool. Yeah,
so that's a fun game. I've been playing that a lot, and but. That's all I can think of.
Yeah, I could go for a lot of other games, but
that's just the game that.
Well, you could really. One other game, Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. You are a acrobatic ninja, basically, or samurai. You have this grapple arm that you use to like just circumvent the territory and get above enemies, and you could jump down and assassinate them. It's from the makers of Dark Souls, so it's freakishly hard. Like, I almost gave up on this game several times, and I've never been so mad at a game. It's so hard. Like, it's probably one of the top 3 hardest games I've played. Like,
wow,
you just die time after time after time, but you finally beat a boss, and it's so satisfying. But yeah, it's a really interesting world with really cool character designs. The music, everything is just like very old, like samurai Japanese, and it fits really well. Really great game. But yeah, we had a lot of great stuff in 2019 to play. Definitely a tougher year than I would have liked, but yeah. I guess one last thing that I would encourage our viewers to do is take care of yourself. Like,
self-care is important.
Self-care is really important, and if you find that through playing games or watching TV or spending time doing that same stuff with loved ones, like, look out for yourself. Like,
yeah, I don't think we can overstress that point, because it's not, you know, I mean, of course there's a point where, you know, self-care could turn into, you know, like self-loathing, or it can turn into, you know, like selfishness, but don't let that fear keep you from like trying, like, taking care of yourself. That's kind of the trap I fell into. Yeah. Of like, well, I don't want to worry about myself because, you know, I have to stay humble. And it's like, well, you know, at one point it's like, you're not staying humble anymore. You're just being self-destructive, and that's not better. Yeah. So, yeah. So you have to learn to love yourself before you can really like love others. Yeah. If you don't love yourself, then
you could look out for other people. Look out for yourself. It makes it easier to look out for other people. Yeah. So yeah, we care about you, viewers, listeners, consumers.
Consume me.
Oh, that's weird. Thanks for tuning in.
Yes, thank you for turning in
tonight.
Yeah. So hope you have a good rest of your day, evening.
Catch us on Twitter. Email us
at nerdingoutpodcast@gmail.com. In the subject line, Flavor Blasted. We will just give us suggestions, give us feedback, anything like that. We will, if you have an idea for an episode or a topic that you want to hear us talk about or hear our takes on, let us know via email or like Twitter or Facebook. Just kind of message us either one of those ways, and we will do it, and we'll shout you out as the person who wanted
we'll literally shout into our microphones.
You realize if we don't do that, then they'll be disappointed.
We'll just like lean far away from the microphone so we don't break them. There it is.
But yeah, so thank you very much for listening, and we look forward to bringing you content this year, and love you, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
I love you guys more. See ya.
I'm actually I want to talk a little bit about the apartment. I was really excited about that. So it's 2 bedrooms, 1 bath. And
is it recording?
Yeah, it's recording now. So, and it's 800 square feet.
That sounds like a lot.
That is almost 3 times as much as we have now.
Oh, so it's a lot. We have even if it's not a lot.
We have like 280 or something in our studio right now. So we're jumping up to, yeah, exactly.
That's crazy. A massive upgrade.
Oh yeah. Rent's like $1,550. Which is just decent for, you know, for the area. There's definitely some places that are more expensive, but that's San Diego. So yeah, we saw one that was a 1-bedroom for like $1,290 something, but it was like really small and kind of like dark, and because some parts were kind of old and stuff. So we were like, we'd be happy with that, but we didn't want to, you know, stick with that. So
sounds like my grandpa. Yeah.
But yeah, it's nice, and then we can. There's 2 bedrooms, so we can have like a guest room / office space. I can put up some soundproof foam and stuff like that, maybe, and we can have like a legit recording office for the podcast.
I was thinking torture chamber, but you know that works better, and it's probably more legal.
Yeah, but yeah, It has hardwood floors, so we have to put like some like a rug down or something, but put stuff up on the walls and stuff, and yeah,
Sounds great.
Yeah, it'd be nice. We hoping to move in next week, actually.
That's soon.
Yeah, because we have to sign the lease on the 12th, before the 12th, and then we'll get the keys probably, and then after that, it's just slowly moving stuff in. Our last day in our old apartment is February 3rd.
February 3rd.
So
5 days before my birthday.
Yeah, and my first day of therapy. So it'll be a good day.
A lot going on.
So, okay, so I'll start it up, and we'll.
Was that your knuckles?
Yeah, I go like that.
I like it.